Hello and welcome. This is the Afro Atheist. Guys, African Christianity is becoming a shit show. African Christianity is now becoming a thing to laugh about. The pastors are out here making a mockery of themselves. It's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. So guys, today's video is about the man called Pastor Adeboye. This is one of the grand patriarchs of the religion of Christianity in Nigeria, Africa. He's got the most churches in the world. My opinion, I may be wrong, but he's got the most churches as far as Africa is concerned. And so this man, years ago, he's known for making claims, which he considers testimonies, but they're just claims that there is no evidence for. He made the claim recently that he drank tea with God. God came down and drank tea with him. I even have that video on my channel because I thought this is crazy. This is bonkers.
I was in Ilorin years ago. We were having breakfast, and we have a pot in which we made tea. I think, if I remember correctly, there are 5 cups in that pot. My wife and I, usually is the one who will finish his first 2 cups, who will get the final one. So I took 1 cup, she took 1. I took 1, she took 1. And I picked the pot to take the 3rd one. And the pot was empty. I looked at her. I couldn't remember when she took the 3rd one. What happened to my tea? And I heard the voice of the Lord. You don't have to believe me, all right? Loud and clear. I said, son, when you prayed, you invited me to join you.
Well, that died down, and a lot of people, I don't know, for some reason, this story of Adeboye just came back, resurfaced again, and the pastors started fighting each other. Some said it is trash. Some said it is real. Some said, oh, how dare you say that you drank tea with God. It now became a free-for-all.
He said he drank tea with God, and that when you travel, you will not need airplane or cars. Here are my questions. How can his critics explain these 2 strange events in the Bible? Number 1, in 1 Kings chapter 18, verse 46, the Spirit of the Lord came upon Elijah, who obviously was trekking on foot, and he ran ahead of Ahab, who rode on chariots. Number 2, in Acts chapter 8, verse 39, when they came up out of the waters, the Spirit of the Lord took Philip away suddenly, and the Ethiopian eunuch could not see him again. These 2 strange events.
Various men of God across the nation have come out to react to Abel Damina's message, where he said it is not possible to drink tea with God. Recall that Dr. Abel Damina had stated in one of his teachings that it is not possible for anyone to drink tea with God. Quoting Psalm chapter 50 verse 12, the man of God said God is a spirit, so therefore he does not need physical things. Men of God across the nation have reacted to the teachings, saying it is actually possible to drink tea with God. According to them, the things of the spirit cannot be understood by physical knowledge. Here is a reaction from the Omega Fire Ministries General Overseer, Apostle Johnson Suleiman. He said, and I quote, spiritual matters are not naturally discerned. The Bible is not a textbook. 1 Corinthians chapter 2 verse 4 says, the natural man cannot understand the things of the spirit. In Mark 11:12, God said Jesus was hungry, so it is possible to eat with God. There are certain matters that you leave alone. Genesis chapter 18, 6, 7, and 8. In verse 8, the Bible says, and Abraham brought milk and butter. Genesis chapter 19 verse 3, the angels that came to Sodom ate. Leave spiritual matters alone. If most of us were in the time of old, old, we would have doubted the miracles of Jesus. You can't follow God with logic. Look at all the people jammed in the stadium. We are gathered to a God we cannot see. Follow God personally. You can't understand the entirety of God. Stop trying to understand God. Psalms chapter 115 verse 3 says, I am the Lord, I do what I please. Here's another reaction from the Dynamic Flame of Fire and Miracles Ministries founder, Prophet U.O. Miracle, and it says, and I quote, Papa Enoch Adeboye says he drank tea with God. We were not there, and I don't think that with his level he has gone with God, he will not come out to be lying. He was passing a message to us that we don't understand. We shouldn't say it is not possible because we were not there and we were not the God that called him. If many of us were around during the days donkey spoke in the Bible, we would have doubted it. Any man of God that tells us his encounter with God, we have no right to doubt it or say he is lying. Adeboye is not looking for members, popularity, or crowd.
It's your heart. I forgot to ask what brand of tea it was. So we can all start drinking that brand. Peradventure, God may join us to drink. It's time for us to expose all these lies and free people from religious manipulation and bring them into Christ's emancipation. Our loyalty is to Christ too. I've told you that many times in this church. There's only one person who died, and that's the only person who are loyalty to.
But my own focus today is when Adeboye saw the commotion that was going on with pastors about his own so-called miracle, what was his response? Pastors are busy talking left, right, center. You said this, you said, you didn't say, cursing each other to the extent one pastor told the other, because you are criticizing Adeboye, you are going to come down with stroke. God said I should tell you, you are going to come down with stroke.
Talk about this Damina, Pastor Damina, Abel Damina. The God told me, I have been seeing his preaching. God told me that he was not preaching. The preaching that is teaching the congregation, it is not from God. It is not what? From God. And God told me, if it is not careful, he's going to have stroke.
He says somebody cursing that I will have stroke. He is the husbandman, he will be the first partaker. He will have it first, then we will see whether it is a good thing before we know if we want to have it. You do hear what I said? He will have it first. Because the mouth that produces it must taste it. Water cannot come out of a tap without the tap getting wet. Jitatulia, since his mouth likes stroke, he will have it from head to leg. Then we will look at him and see how stroke looks and see if we desire, because what we don't desire we cannot have. Are you following? Yes. Tell him if you find him, you'll be the first stroker. Then we will watch whether that stroke is a nice thing. If it's not, we will say to fear kwa.
So what was Adeboye's response? The man who is at the center of this tea drinking miracle thing. It's hard to even know what to call it, that God comes down to drink tea with this old man. Anyway, is his response. And this response of Adeboye will show you how Christianity has become a cancer in Africa. So let's have a look at what Adeboye had to say.
Pay very close attention to what I'm about to share with you. And at the end, you will know why. Because you're about to pray one of the biggest prayers of your life. In Ephesians chapter 3, verse 8. Ephesians 3, verse 8. Paul the apostle said that he is less than the least of the saints. I read it to you. Unto me, who I am less than the least of all saints, is this grace given, that I should preach among the Gentiles the unsearchable riches of Christ. Now, if Paul said that he is less than the least of the saints, we're talking of the one who wrote practically 1/3 of the New Testament. Then, who then is Adeboye? If Paul is less than the least of the saints, the conclusion is clear. Pastor Adeboye is nothing. However, he's God. He's everything.
Okay, this is the gaslighting that I'm trying to point out. You're being called out for something that you said, right? This is a time when you at least say, let me give some kind of proof or evidence that I indeed drank tea with God. But no, here he comes talking about Apostle Paul. Apostle Paul said, I am the least. If Apostle Paul could say, I am the least, who am I, Adeboye? I am even smaller than Paul. Oh, but my God. Oh, but my God. He is big. He's a big guy. My God is the big one. How dare you question what I said about my God? Oh, I'm not going to give you any proof at all that I drank tea with him. But how dare you question my God?
Listen to me carefully. Adeboye is one stupid boy. Now prove it to you before I close. But it's God. He's wiser than the wisest. Adeboye is weak. Believe it or not. He eats pounded yam. He goes to the toilet. That is God is stronger than the strongest. Adeboye is nothing. That is God. Is the all-sufficient God. So
just get to your point already. Calling yourself stupid, calling yourself foolish, calling yourself small. You eat a bar, you drink gari. All of this is not needed in this conversation. You drank tea with God. Show us proof that you drank tea with God. We are trying to determine whether you are a fake man or not. Don't come at us with this. Your God is the biggest. We don't care. Don't care, because if your God is the biggest, he's making you out to look like a clown on Front Street. Get to it already. No need to gaslight us. No.
there is nothing spectacular. There's no big deal. If you mock Pastor Adeboye, he deserves to be mocked. The word of God made it abundantly clear. Anyone that God will choose must be foolish, must be weak, must be a nobody, so that only God will get the glory. Can I hear amen to that?
So this is the criteria God uses for the people he chooses to speak for him. They've got to be weak. They've got to be foolish. They've got to be a nobody. Your God truly knows how to pick them. Your God truly knows how to pick these foolish nobodies. But what I don't understand is, why does God make these foolish nobodies fly in private jets? Why are these foolish nobodies the richest in the whole of Africa? Why is it that these foolish nobodies that God chooses have made their wealth on the backs of the people that God has put in their care? Oh, when it comes to the time when we are asking you to provide proof for what you're saying, oh, then my God is a big God and no one can mock my God. But when it is time for you all to fly in your private jets, you become the big guy. Then God he's relegated to the back. Guys, can you see? This is the madness in African Christianity. And Adeboye has gone years of doing this. Every time he is asked or challenged, oh my goodness, this is his MO. He resorts to doing this. Putting himself down. I'm nobody, but my God is big.
So it's okay to mock Pastor Adeboye. Just make sure you don't mock his God. Why? Because Adeboye is nothing. There's nothing he can do to you.
Adeboye, we are not the one mocking you. Your God is mocking you. Adeboye, it is your own God that is mocking you out here. Your God came down. There are 7+ billion people in the world. Children dying of cancer in a hospital. He didn't go over there. There are people that their next meal is not guaranteed. He didn't go there. He came to one of the richest pastors in Africa. He came to you to drink tea with you. I did not know God had a mouth. I didn't know God had a stomach. I didn't know that God had a digestive system. That he's now, because I thought you folks said he's a spirit. Since when did spirits start drinking tea? Your God is deliberately mocking you on Front Street. Nothing to do with us.
It is God. He's a consuming fire.
Here we go, guys.
When some people are mocking, when they're laughing, let them laugh.
Yeah, here we go, guys. Listen, this is the
What do I say?
gaslighting.
Just remember one thing, only one thing. He who laughs last, laughs best. I have said it to you before. Adeboye was so rotten that if I were Jesus Christ, I would not have saved him. Have you heard me say that before?
Gosh.
But somehow, one of the things about God you never will understand until we get to heaven is how he can love somebody like me.
There we go, guys. This is the gaslighting we're talking about.
If people are laughing, I can sympathize with them. It's just that he has a very special love for this small boy, as stupid as he is.
Can you imagine?
When in 1981, I was living in one room in Mushin, you've heard that one before, and I asked him to please build me a boys' quarter.
It just gets worse. Every time you challenge this man, he resorts to this kind of tactics. If you think that you will get an honest response, I'm sorry, it's not going to come. He will use his God to gaslight you. His God is a consuming fire. It's the passive aggressiveness. Those are the tactics that he uses. I'm small, but my God is big, and my God can do anything. He can do anything to you. But you know something, Adeboye? We are going to keep on challenging you and your God. We have the right to. I was once a member of your church. In fact, I got baptized at this man's church. I've got my baptism certificate. So I've earned the right to critique. And if your claims do not make sense, then your claims, we need to put it in the spotlight and point out your lies. You have single-handedly caused people a lot of pain. You have sat there and made yourself that gatekeeper of heaven, telling people that without paying tithe, they're not going to heaven. But we are taking it back and we are challenging. And so, strap in, get ready, because we are going to start asking those hard questions that folks have refused to ask Adeboye. We are going to be asking those questions. What God comes down to drink tea with humans? Of all the things that your God could be doing, he's coming to drink tea with you. This is pure foolishness, pure madness. And this is why Christianity is failing, because of the lies that you people tell. So, guys, so what do you think of this video? What do you think about this man and his tactics? Drinking tea with God. Since when? Since when did people start drinking tea with God? They've lied to us for so long. But you know what? We're here to take it back. If you've enjoyed this content, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and share and subscribe, of course. And I'll catch you in the next one. There's still sin in the world. Christians sin every single day. So, what did Jesus sacrifice himself for?